with that, let's check out the starters. No change for either team. We did see Memphis kind of lean a little bit towards, more towards a smaller lineup, Candace, in game 2. Obviously showed a lot more fight. Jaren Jackson, we just saw his numbers. 17 of those 26 points came in the second half of that game. But to your point, can they start quicker here tonight? They didn't have a shoot-around earlier today. Of course, had the grueling last couple of weeks, the emotions, the 2 play-in games, the loss at Golden State, then winning against Dallas to get their postseason bid. And so he gave them the day off today. They've been really kind of deliberate, Candace, in how they've tried to come up with a game plan to contend with this Oklahoma City team.
You saw that SGA not really putting up SGA percentages, if you will, and the Thunder still rolling, and they're doing that on the backs of J-Dub. They're doing that with Hartenstein, and they're doing that with their depth. You talk about different guards coming off the bench, Caruso, Wallace. You've seen just everybody contribute for this Thunder team in so many different ways, and their effort and energy has not wavered. Whether up by 51, it doesn't matter. These guys play hard.
Oklahoma City 68-14 during the season. They tied the 72-73 Celtics for the 6th best record in the history of the sport. They won the West by just a staggering 16 games. And here they are trying to take that next step to what they hope is going to be a championship season, as we're off and running here in Memphis in game 3. Scottie Pippen Jr., rough shooting start for him through the first 2 games. Desmond Bane, a little bit short. And Candace, as you know better than anyone, your supporting cast players usually play better at home. Will that be the case tonight for the Grizzlies?
Yes, but regardless of where you're at, your go-to players set the tone. They set up those others to be able to play well and be in great position. And these friendly baskets, usually the ball goes in. You get the friendly bounce.
Not that time for Scottie Pippen Jr. This is off the bottom of the basket, so a little break for Memphis and an underneath out of bounds for the Grizzlies.
And I mentioned earlier that they're being outscored by 64-37 in that first quarter. The Thunder have not started well. Last game, it was 4-4, 6-4, but then they go in this burst in that mid to first quarter, and the Grizzlies have not been able to answer that.
Tomas Edey is going to be bumped, and he's going to shoot free throws. Looks like Chet Holmgren took a shot as he bore the brunt of that collision. And Zach Edey to the free throw line. We saw Isolo and his coaching counterpart Mark Daignault, the chess match between those two. The whirlwind for Isolo took over March the 28th for Taylor Jenkins, who was showing the exits, trying to figure out some kind of way to push some of the right buttons against this juggernaut of an Oklahoma City team.
And with 9 games left in the regular season, Coach Isolo takes over at the time Memphis number 4, tied for number 4 in the West. And so let's see what they can do to get back to playing the way with the amount of pace and energy and getting up and down the court that they did in the regular season. That's their goal in this first quarter, is to set the tone.
Isolo, a guy who was really a complete unknown in NBA circles when Memphis hired him to be one of Taylor Jenkins' top assistants last summer. As Chet Holmgren now has missed on his first 2 takes. And Oklahoma City still looking for their first points. Scottie Pippen Jr. has had some big scoring games this season. Can he solve this Thunder defense? Morant steps back. So both teams a little bit off from the outside. Thunder has missed their first 2, and the Grizzlies owe their first 3.
And it seems like both of these teams are due, as SGA pats himself on the butt. Hasn't shot a great percentage in this series, but he still does so many SGA things that maybe don't show up in the stat sheet. But again, Grizzlies shooting 32% from beyond the arc. They've got to be able to get some of these to go down for them to be able to battle against this Thunder team.
Morant pulled his first 2, the offensive rebound for Edey. Morant with 5 to shoot. Jalen Williams. Morant steps back, tough shot. covers a lot of real estate to get his first bucket.
And he elevates on his jump shot, Sparrow.
Jalen Williams, wild miss, and the officials a late whistle. Off the late whistle, there was a little bit of contact. Looks like they're going to put Williams at the free throw line. Our officiating crew tonight: Josh Tiven, Mitchell Irvin, Kevin Cutler, as Desmond Bane is whistled for his first.
And right here, SGA doing SGA things. You can tell it was a point of emphasis to get him back to that mid-range. Shot a lot of threes in those first 2 games, and they need him in the paint. And then again, Ja Morant, this is what we're used to seeing. Him getting into the paint and making the defense pay because he elevates so high on his jump shot.
You know, we talked to both coaches, and one of the things that Isolo told us, he agreed with you. Pace is just really something that has been their strength all season, and offensive rebounding. But he said the turnovers that we've committed, more than 22 in game 1, they've really neutralized what has been an advantage for this Memphis team. And of course, it all starts with how good the Thunder is defensively.
And let's just be honest, this is not a great matchup for Memphis. This is going on, they have a 11-game win streak going back to playoffs and regular season combined from last year. In terms of percentages, they shoot 40% from beyond, from the field against this Thunder defense.
Morant to the rim, a little bit of body bumping down low, no whistle. Run out opportunity as the Grizzlies get back. Holmgren underneath to Hartenstein. Far side corner to Dort. Career best season from 3, missed it. And Desmond Bane the save.
And that right there sets the tone. You get that rebound, you don't get another, and you're able to get out against not a set defense.
Desmond Bane up top. Edey took a little bit of a bump from the back, and the loose ball to Dort, and the officials, well, he said traveling violation, probably just pointed the wrong way, so it looks like it's going to stay here with Memphis as they will put 14 seconds on the shot clock.
I'm also looking, we got the grit and grind, right? You talked about that earlier. You got Zebo, you got Tony Allen. You need this Grizzlies team to kind of take a page out of the Houston Rockets book and impose their will a little bit. Make this a physical game, because that's what they need to do to slow this Thunder down with their fluidity.
Jackson, boy, a thing of beauty. The footwork, the spin, as he gets the Grizz a 2-point lead. Here comes SGA, the little hesitation, and over, and then Edey gets him from the back. Just an amazing defensive recovery with all that length. Pippen Jr. out front to Jackson, boy, trying to create the space. No whistle, or is there one? A jersey tug.
Rebound on Hartenstein.
So Hartenstein whistled for his first, and a side out of bounds for Memphis.
Well, this right here has got to make Coach Isolo happy. Establishing Jaren Jackson Jr. in the paint. He's a tough operator in there, and then again, Edey getting out on the block contesting.
Jackson!
And this is the biggest lead for the Grizzlies in this series.
Tells you about all you need to know. Beautiful dive to the basket. Holmgren couldn't squeeze it. 2-on-1 break. Pippen out to Bane. Open 3. Long rebound to Bane. He will fire again. And he's called at the start. Edey unable to save. So they get 2 excellent looks for Bane, who has now missed his first 3 from deep.
It's a new era NBA, right? You got the 2-on-1, and you get a 3 as Jaren Jackson Jr. gets a rest early in this first quarter.
Early substitution just past the 8-minute mark. Isaiah Joe will wait to check in at the table for Mark Daigneault. 7:56 to play in this first quarter. A Memphis team that lost almost in historic fashion in game 1 by 51 points. Can they make this a series? SGA misses from the elbow, and Edey rips the rebound underneath.
And those are shots that we're accustomed to seeing SGA knock down in his sleep.
Pippen Jr.'s going to fire, and hits. Encouraging early signs in this game for Memphis.
Right here, Pippen Jr. knocking down a much-needed three. Gives the Grizzlies some life, up 8.
First round coverage on TNT is presented by NerdWallet. Well, this is Elvis Country, about a 15-minute drive from Graceland on a beautiful night here in Memphis as we say hello for the first time tonight to Mr. Dennis Scott.
All right, guys, so much speculation earlier today that the Grizzlies didn't have shoot-around. Talking to the coaching staff, they wanted to give the guys some extra rest knowing what they've been through in the play-in game. With that being said, Candace, I questioned the big fella, Big Edie, the other day. I said, big fella, is the speed of the game too much for the physicality? He says, I'm still adjusting to it, but he's having fun. Candace is off to a fast start tonight with a couple blocks and a couple rebounds.
Yes, the biggest thing in your first playoff series is adjustment. And game 1, boy, to have that be your first ever experience in a playoff, and to be able to keep his head as SGA is so smooth with that left hand. Edie did a great job of just staying poised, doing his job and adjusting. And he getting to that block early just shows that his activity level is different today.
That SGA quarter ending at 8:01, and Pippen Jr. already's got his second 3-ball. 9-point Grizzlies lead, and now he's got to contend with SGA at the other end of the floor. Outside to Williams, steps into a 3, that's short, and Isaiah Joe, all the little plays to Dort. Offensive rebound, J-Dub, his second on this trip.
And initially, the Grizzlies doing a great job of cleaning up the glass. They themselves were taking a page out of Thunder book as Edie takes the 3 and knocks it down. How about your 7-foot center? Trail 3, just smooth, calm, cool, and collected.
Zach Edey starts hitting 3s on it. You're in for a long night. As we get contact on the perimeter, and this thing was a pretty high arching stroke from deep.
New age NBA, Sparrow. Telling you.
My goodness.
Biggs knocking it down from beyond the arc.
Desmond Bane just picked up his second personal, so he's got to take his seat. And they got to go a little bit deeper into their bench. So John Conchar, first time we're seeing him tonight.
And he'll draw the assignment of J-Dub, who has led the Thunder in scoring this series. Has played well, especially inside the arc. Again, they got to get it going from beyond. The scary thing is they haven't shot the ball well.
Right on cue, Isaiah Joe connects on a corner 3.
It's been the guards coming in off the bench for the Thunder. Just reignite energy as Altama knocks down another 3 for the Grizzlies. This is a great sign, seeing the ball go in the rim.
Memphis 4 of 9 from deep. SGA trying to lean in to create this space. Just so crafty, so resourceful. And a much better start tonight than we've seen from SGA in the series. Pippen, red hot. Keep in mind, Memphis, for all of their struggles the first 2 games, as SGA hits again.
And that's the scary part. The Thunder have dominated this series with SGA not shooting great from beyond the arc, not shooting great from mid-range. 4 of 13 in game 1, 10 of 29 in game 2. We're not accustomed to seeing that. But then you got Pippen Jr. knocking down his second 3 on the day. I mean, third 3 on the day, excuse me.
Candace, we have to remind ourselves, again, because they started so poorly the first 2 games, Memphis was the #2 scoring team in the league this season, nearly 123 points per game. And so we know that they've got the firepower. But can they contend with this OKC defense? Pippen Jr.
I think you should guard him right there, heating up 4 of 4 from beyond the arc.
Memphis has hit 5 straight from deep. And now both teams starting to cook. 9-point game as we cross the 5-minute mark left in this first quarter. Officials are going to get Jalen Williams on a reach in here as Pippen Jr. creating all kinds of havoc. That'll be Williams first. Scottie Pippen Jr. undrafted. Penalty situation. Looks like they're going to put him at the free throw line. But Pippen Jr. undrafted out of Vanderbilt, 3 collegiate seasons there. Rookie season with the Lakers, played in only 6 games before making his way here to Memphis, where he has certainly found a home with this Grizzlies franchise. Shop NBAstore.com now for the best selection of NBA playoffs gear. Choose from jerseys, t-shirts, hats, and more. NBAstore.com, a Fanatics experience. And we welcome those of you that have just watched the Detroit Pistons and the New York Knicks. Knicks winning that series to take a 2-1 lead. Spiro Ditas, Candace Parker, Dennis Scott, rest of our TNT crew. Game 3, Memphis and Oklahoma City. With the Grizzlies trying to climb out of an 0-2 series hole. Jaren Jackson hounding defense from Dort.
And the story on the night has been Scottie Pippen Jr. knocking down 4 threes beyond the arc, providing some offense as J-Dub gets the jam. Providing some offense for this struggling Grizzlies team that's shooting only 38% in the series, 32 from beyond the arc. As Konchar knocks down another one. This is exactly what the Grizzlies hope for, coming back home, sleeping in your own bed, being able to be familiar with the rims. They go up 10 in this first quarter.
Back with you courtside here in Memphis. Spiro Ditas, Candace Parker. We'll hear from 3D in just a couple of minutes. What a start. It looks like a completely different Memphis team. They've hit 6 straight from deep.
Well, usually that happens when you get back home, you sleep in your own bed, and you have your role players playing better at home. Pippen Jr. setting the tone, 4 of 4 from beyond the arc. And guess what? When you see one go in, the basket opens up. Aldama joined the party. Edie even had a little fun from beyond the arc. Jaren Jackson Jr. knocked it down. The Thunder have relied so much on the extra effort and the extra play. Scottie Pippen Jr., known to lock up, has done a great job of SGA on the series, but now he's doing it on the offensive end as well.
SGA, boy, just masterful here at the start. The little hesitation maneuver to create the space, and he's got 10 early points. See what he's done so far. The other thing to keep in mind with Memphis, remember they missed their first 10 shots of game 2 before they finally were able to turn it on. Job found some things with his offense in the second quarter, and they are still scalding hot.
And the Grizzlies hitting their 7th straight 3. Now mind you, they had 6 threes in all of game 1.
Unbelievable. They hit 10 in game 2 as Aldama is able to connect. Let's see who the officials get here with Holmgren trying to chisel his way to the basket.
And Dagnall electing to go small with Chet Holmgren at the 5. With their feisty guards, Alex Caruso usually draws the assignment of the 4.
So Chet Holmgren, who was just magnificent in game 2, at the free throw line to get this thing back down to 10. The NBA on TNT is brought to you by the Kia Telluride X-Line. Kia, official automotive partner of the NBA. Let's check in with Dennis.
All right, guys, this is the lineup that we talked with Coach Daggs about, having Chet at the 5 and 4 guards. Because defensively, this is the lineup they like to get into the passing lanes, get some steals, and see if they can get their transition game going.
Dennis, he's like a mad scientist with the rotations and the combinations that he has at his disposal with this interchangeable team, Candace. Maybe unlike any team that we've ever seen in recent memory with their depth. Jackson misfires in tight.
With their depth and their ability to play in so many different ways. What a luxury to have Joe come in off the bench. Wallace, Caruso, really doing a great job of providing energy and effort on the defensive end. And then you got Holmgren. Looked like he got fouled on that play.
Official said that Aldama got him cleanly. And look at Memphis, the slow start and what they've done since. They're going to get SGA here as Jackson trying to attempt the catch. Penalty situation with the Thunder over the limit. As John Morant's going to check back in, you have to assume that his rests are going to be very brief tonight. SGA, meantime, Candace picks up his 2nd personal with 2:09 left in the quarter.
And you've got to think that Memphis has to establish themselves in the post against this lineup. It's going to be crucial for them to not get live ball turnovers, to get the Thunder out into fast break, as they dominated in the first 2 games from that standpoint. 21-3 in game 2 in fast break. And that's normally, Memphis likes to run. They like pace, but it just speaks to what the Thunder are able to do on the offensive end, but using that #1 defensive rating in the NBA to get some easy looks in secondary and in transition.
Jaren Jackson, now 25 years of age in his 7th season. One-time NBA All-Star, one-time Defensive Player of the Year. What beautiful backdoor cut. Caruso up high. Boy, that just terrific movement. Everyone in constant motion. Aldama going to get him reset. This is Jackson.
Drawing the assignment of Jaren. I'd like to pitch the ball a little bit closer to the basket so he has an advantage.
Underneath, chance at the rim. Let's see what the officials say here. Last touch by the Thunder with $1:25 now left in the quarter.
And right here, all of this was SGA. We call that a hockey assist. Wallace doing a great job of finding Caruso.
So Luke Kennard, so his numbers dip a little bit after the coaching change in late March. Morant against Caruso underneath. Just too much.
Just too much is right. The entire scouting report, you know Morant loves to go left, but you can't give him right. He does a great job of just getting to the basket. As SGA, we haven't seen him draw the number of fouls that he draws during the regular season in this series. Scottie Pippen Jr. has done a great job of staying honest. But Ja right here, look at this. You overplay that left side. He can go right. He needs to live in the paint. He needs to be relentless in the paint against this Thunder team, because then that's going to open up more looks beyond the arc and make things easier for your others.
So Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, finalist for the league MVP, hits on the front end of the free throws. Watch hit shows like Up and Adams with Kay Adams and Run It Back featuring Lou Williams, Chandler Parsons, and Michelle Beadle on FanDuel TV, free on all your favorite devices. Packed house, not a seat to be had here in Memphis. Spirit Vitas, Candace Parker, Dennis Scott, rest of our TNT crew. And producer Bert Bondi and Brent Kristan, our director. Happy to have you with us. Mrs. Aldama is there to clean up the mess.
And the second chance points today. That's the difference right here. The Thunder are cleaning up those misses and the first to the loose balls, as opposed to the first 2 games, it was the Thunder.
A.J. Mitchell getting his first significant run of the series. Here he comes, turns the corner. Aldama got a piece. And the officials say, yes, there was indeed a foul. So they're going to put Mitchell at the free throw line with 28.4 seconds left in the quarter.
Yeah, Aldama got Mitchell on the arm. Great call on the play as the Thunder look to shoot their 7th and 8th free throw on the day this first quarter.
A.J. Mitchell, young man, 3 collegiate seasons at UC Santa Barbara. In his rookie season, taken with the 38th overall pick by the Knicks. And then the draft night trade, eventually finding his way to Oklahoma City. So an 11-point game, 25 seconds left in the quarter. About a 4.5-second difference between shot and game clock. Memphis shooting it at a 52% clip. I beg your pardon, 53%. They're still perfect from deep. Aldama turns and fades. Tough shot from the top of the key. Final 3 seconds. Gilgeous-Alexander ahead to Caruso. 1 second. Conchar gets him. Boy, what a difference a couple of nights makes. Nice to be home from Memphis.
Right here, this is the extra effort that the Grizzlies have been looking for.
Memphis up 11 as we head to the second. First round coverage on TNT is presented by NerdWallet. right, downtown Memphis, the 2025 NBA playoffs are presented by Google. As we sit in for the start of the second quarter, a couple of seconds ago, Dennis Scott with Jalen Williams.
All right, guys, J-Dub, you knew these guys were going to come out some more fight tonight. How you slow them down, giving up 40 points in that first quarter?
Just be more physical. We obviously knew their plan of attack was going to be to play faster, so we just got to get back in transition.
Offensively, is the ball now moving like it was in games 1 and 2, getting easier shots?
I mean, we put up 30 points. You know, you're going to make some, you're going to miss some, but defensively, we got to be better.
Appreciate you.
Yep.
Oh, boy, thankfully, looks like J-Dub is okay as he takes a nasty spill. Remember Jimmy Butler going down hard last night. Pelvic contusion for Golden State.
To be young and pop back up.
We're going to say the same thing.
It's the luxury of having a roster that's average age is 24 right there.
Youngest team in the league. We asked Mark Daigneault about it, and he said, look, I know this isn't normal from a coaching standpoint to be able to coach a group like this. So dynamic, so talented, so young, and so unselfish. The organic feel to this team.
Well, so much of success is the buy-in. That's what it is. It's talent for sure. It's depth for sure. It's the X's and O's, but it's the buy-in and the leadership that you need and the guys wanting to. This Thunder team has proved time and time again that they play for each other and they put the team before themselves.
1 or 3 wouldn't go from Kennard. Then Williams again coming to the rim. They are arguing that Edey touched it off the glass and that the basket should be counted here. I don't think they're going to win that argument. Jalen Williams at the line for 2 shots. As he already is going to earn his second trip to the line here in the first 32 seconds of the quarter. Jalen Williams, what an incredible season for him. 3rd year in the league, first-time All-Star. Career highs in just about every major statistical category. Points, rebounds, assists, and steals. Candace, I didn't see if Edey touched it there.
But even if he touched it, it's off glass. So it looked like he might have gotten it maybe before. I don't know. Too close to call.
Offensive rebound, Hartenstein. Williams, boy, he is cooking here at the start of the quarter. So just like that, it's an 8-point game, and Williams now has 11 for the Thunder.
J-Dub's been the bright spot for this Thunder team, doing a great job getting his mid-range game. He's 14 of 18 in this series in game 1 and 2 in the paint.
Jackson trying to fend off Caruso, and that's the versatility that Caruso brings with his defense. We saw him already defending Morant, and that time Jackson, who was too strong inside.
But Jackson caught the ball closer to the basket. It's a lot easier to play against a guard when you have less ground to cover. In game 1 and 2, he was being pushed out to the 3-point line. And he's really established himself in the paint, which has allowed the Grizzlies to live where they love. Right there as Ja gets the sweet right-hand floater.
So John Morant, 6 points, 3 of his first 7. He has missed his first 3 from deep. Williams trying to work against Conchar right down Broadway, making that look easy. Morant again now defended by Caruso, who is switching all over the floor. Looks like the officials will get him with the contact. That'll be his first. With just under 2 minutes gone by in the second quarter, and the Grizzlies holding a 10-point lead. Desmond Bane picked up his second personal early. Spent most of that first quarter on the bench. Morant from deep, got it!
Ja Morant knocks down a much-needed 3. Thunder are going to give him time and space. He's got to make them pay.
Hartenstein coughs it up. Edey is there. Largest lead of the night in the series for Memphis by far. Morant weaves his way into the paint. Got Hartenstein to bite. Candace, I saw you shaking your head just as he pulled up.
Right here, Ja Morant, they're going to go under, and the Thunder are going to live with this. Ja has got to knock it down. He's only shooting 30% from beyond the arc against the Thunder on the season. They're going to give him time and space. If he can knock it down, it could be a long night for the Thunder.
Take a little peek upcoming playoff schedule. A couple of game threes tomorrow on ESPN. Lakers, Minnesota in the nightcap. ABC Saturday, we'll have Houston, Golden State. You can visit NBA.com or visit the NBA app for the complete schedule. One thing to keep in mind with Morant, still a little bit hindered by that right ankle sprain that he sustained in the play-in game at Golden State last week. He had the big 22-point game on Friday in Dallas, or here against Dallas, to get them into the playoffs as Aaron Wiggins is turned back. Offensive rebound to get to Caruso, and he knocks in a three.
And those are the threes that the Thunder capitalize on when the ball is loose, either a second chance point, a dive on the floor. When it comes from inside out, they're money.
Morant has scored the last 7 for the Grizzlies, dropping a dime over the shoulder and behind his back to Edey, who's going to shoot free throws. And Morant starting to carve him up.
And there's a different energy and a different pep with the Grizzlies tonight that we looked for in game 2. They've really come out, they've set the tone. The stars have been stars. They haven't backed down from the physicality of the Thunder. And they've really sought out the paint.
And we asked Tomas Isolo about conversations with John Morant, who looked like was a little passive Candace at the start of that game too before he turned it on. And he said, look, we are constantly having conversations. And he said it's really the holy grail of basketball, right? It's the balance between aggression and patience. But make no mistake, the urgency level is as high as it could possibly be tonight for Morant. And right now, Memphis holding a 13-point lead. See the free throw numbers so far. There's Case and Wallace the bounce. This is Jalen Williams, the kick out to the other J-Dub. And the rebound last touched by Caruso, and it belongs to Memphis. Desmond Bane just barely able to get it into Edey. You've just hopped on with us. Memphis shooting at a 53% clip. They're red hot from deep. 9 of 17 so far from 3. Morant turns the corner short.
Well, also, let's check in. You said rebounding, not turning the ball over. Memphis only has 1 turnover in the first quarter and a half, and have done a great job of controlling the glass.
Wiggins at that big game 1, 21 points, and then in game 2, he only played 7 minutes. Mark Daigneault told us, boy, that was on me. But again, it just speaks to the depth that he's got with this group. Jaren Jackson, 7 to shoot. Sucks in the second defender. Morant up top. Dazzling pass for Edey.
And John Morant doing a great job seeing the mismatch, encouraging Jackson Jr. to keep fighting. Nice little high-low pass to 7-foot center.
Williams, a little floater, missed it. Morant keeping it alive. What a play by Bane. Morant already with his 5th dime, and it is all Memphis.
For the next series, just tell Siri, add wings to my grocery list.
The Memphis Grizzlies are off to an amazing start here early in this second quarter. They're getting contributions on the defensive end. They've knocked down 4 threes from Scottie Pippen Jr. from beyond the arc. They're getting second chance points, which we didn't see in game 1 and game 2. And the extra effort has been the key, the unselfishness. In game 2, they had 14 total bench points. Tonight, they already have 13. They're off to a great start because they are playing hard. There's an extra pep in their step. And when that happens, good things happen, and the ball has gone in the basket.
Yeah, it's still early, but the script has been flipped, at least to this point. Wiggins turned over. Bane, the trailer, Pippen Jr., and they just keep coming. It is a 19-point lead.
And this is how the Grizzlies want to play. They average 121 points per game. They want to play fast. They depend on getting rebounds rebounds and getting out and allowing their athleticism to show in the open court.
Grizzlies pushing again on a 16-5 run. Aldama gets it to Pippen Jr. And he'll get him reset. Here he comes into the paint. Aldama, high post, spins up over the top of Caruso. Too easy. And how about this turnaround? Unbelievable. SGA misfires from three. Edey clears. Grizzlies shooting at a 57% clip, looking for more. Pippen in the corner. Steps back. He's going to foul. That's a rare miss from deep.
That would have brought the house down if Pippen Jr. knocks that one.
Caruso, and he coughs it up in the paint. OKC just one field goal in nearly 5 minutes. Aldama skips it to Bane. Excellent movement. This is Pippen. Splash!
5 of 6 from downtown. They're doing it with ball movement. They're taking smart shots. And guess what? They're not turning it over. So they're not playing against a set Thunder defense. They're able to play in the open floor, and they look pretty.
This is a 24-point Memphis lead, which is hard to believe after what we saw the first 2 games in OKC. As the officials get a loose ball foul here, Jalen Williams knocked to the floor. It's on Edey. That'll be his first. With 5:27 now left to play before halftime.
Let's talk about ball movement. Scottie Pippen Jr. had an opportunity to take a 3 earlier, and he passed it up from good to great. And then Bane just providing energy and effort, unselfishness, and Pippen Jr. being the beneficiary of that. 6 of 8. He is red hot.
Let's check in with Dennis.
Well, guys, so much was talked about. Do the Grizzlies have their legs coming off the play-in game? Now the whole day off. It looks like they found that exactly what you're talking about, Candace.
Well, indeed they have so far. Morant misses, grabs the miss from SGA. Chisels into the paint. Inside Aldama. And the roll off the left iron. Gilgeous-Alexander ahead to Joe. Transition 3 misses badly. And boy, the Thunder now from deep, Candace, are 2 of 15.
And because the Thunder cannot get a stop, because the Grizzlies are running it down the Thunder's back, the Thunder cannot set their defense as Pippen picks SGA.
And the floodgates have opened in Memphis. Here in Memphis, we take a look at our Google search trends tonight. And of course, Scottie Pippen Jr. is trending at the moment. Scottie Sr. would have trended a couple of times in his day, but it is all about Junior. Already, Candace, a career high with his 5 threes.
Yes, and he's doing it in so many different ways. You know what he means to this team on the defensive end as Ja Morant gets the fast break point and a little bit of extra. This is playoff basketball. That's what I'm talking about right there. That's that firepower. That's what Memphis needs. But again, what Memphis needed was to get out in transition. 8 total fast break points in game 1 and game 2. Guess what? 8 today.
Candace, I'd give Zach Randolph all the credit. Ja got one look at Zach on the baseline, and that got his juices pumping. Big shot for OKC, Cason Wallace.
Hey, if I had backup with Zebo and Tony Allen, I'd yell too.
So that ends a 22-5 Grizzlies run. But they look up and they are still in a 25-point hole. So they get the 3 from Wallace and then the turnover unforced on the perimeter.
And you don't overreact to that. It's not a live ball turnover. The thing about Memphis in the games 1 and game 2, they were sparking the Thunder offense by turning it over live. And then having to guard SGA, J-Dub, Chet Holmgren in transition.
SGA working against Desmond Bane, who again is playing with those 2 personals. Shot clock at 5. Dort, high arching rainbow 3, too much. And the loose change corralled by Bane.
And Bane doing a great job on SGA and then coming in and securing the rebound.
Officials are going to get Holmgren here on a block. Holmgren is arguing that he was pushed into the path of Jackson by Scottie Pippen Jr. But Holmgren is called for his second nonetheless. Mark Daigneault about to check in here with Jalen Williams.
Well, as a result of the Thunder having to play in that half-court set right here, yes, that's the correct call. Jaren Jackson Jr. doing a great job enforcing his will and not backing away from the contact. But the Thunder having to play in the half-court makes me feel like Coach Daigneault should go back to Hartenstein. He does a great job of initiating offense, able to take the pressure off of SGA and J-Dub, find the Thunder guards for some back cuts.
Hartenstein did pick up his third personal, so trying to save him for as much as he can in the second half. Morant, high post delivery. Here comes Gilgeous-Alexander, flicks it up high off the back iron. Wallace, Jalen Williams on the dive, and look at Pippen. Look out. Oh boy. The contact from Dort, and Morant is still down. Jaren Jackson jawing at Dort. Didn't appreciate, boy, you don't need much contact when the player is that vulnerable in midair. Officials trying to defuse the situation as quickly as they can, but now the concern on Memphis' superstar John Morant, who is still down. Officials already have motioned that they will look at the replay to determine if there was anything extra. And John Morant is writhing in pain.
The foul on Dort is under review to see if it meets the criteria for a flagrant foul.
Candace, it looks like he's clutching at his left hip.
Well, we've seen a number of these falls over the last couple days. When you're in the air, you have no control. And because of the results of NBA players jumping as high as they do, as acrobatic as John Morant is, Dort turns around and took him out the air, and you just hate to see it. I know the discussion in the studio is put your arm down, put your hand down. When you're in the air, you're not thinking about that.
He was just barely able to brace his fall, but by that point it was too late. He was coming down with all that force as he is now rolled over onto his back.
Upon review, Dort slips and is in a compromised position, and there's nothing on the play that rises to a level of a flagrant foul. So it is a common foul. It'll be 2 free throws. 2 free throws for Morant.
All right, so nothing extra determined by Josh Tiven and our officiating crew. And it looks like they're going to help John Morant now, I would assume, towards that Grizzlies locker room.
But in order for him to come back in this game, he's got to shoot these 2 free throws.
That's right. So that would end his night. And just unbelievable turn of events. And they probably just mentioned to him about the free throws just to give them possibly a chance for him to come back. So it looks like he's gingerly going to come back and shoot the free throws just to leave the door open. But Candace, I'm not sure he's going to be able to do it. Now Josh Tiven is involved. As Morant is going to gingerly make his way to the free throw line. He is still being talked to by the athletic trainer. The officials are still talking about it. So we got all kinds of things going on here. 3:15 left to play in what has been just a dominant first half performance by Memphis. Suddenly wondering if they're going to have their franchise player in the second half.
Well, the only way to have an opportunity to come back in later on in the game is to shoot these 2 free throws, as John Morant, you could tell, is just noticeably weak on that right side.
We mentioned the ankle injury that he hurt last week. As we take another look at the scary spill here.
He lands right on that left side.
It's the front of that left hip. But all the injuries, Candace, that he's had to contend with. Remember the labrum tear last January, missed the second half of the season. This year he's missed 32 games, still at times had to deal with that shoulder soreness, that surgically repaired shoulder. As now they will get Ja into that Memphis locker room to take a closer look at him. And he is still in a world of pain. So Luke Kennard will replace Morant, at least for the moment here, with 3:14 left in the half.
Right here, you see Lou Dort slips, trying to contest, and just all of his weight down on that left hip.
Now we could just hope for the best for Morant. Here's Aldama, boy, beautiful backdoor cut. Bain able to find the opening behind that Oklahoma City defense.
What's going to be crucial for Memphis to close out this half. You don't want to give the Thunder any momentum going into halftime.
Gilgeous-Alexander working on the perimeter. A little body bumping with Pippen Jr. As Memphis had a foul to give, so a side out of bounds for the Thunder. Tomas Isolo and his staff, obviously a lot on their minds here, even with this big lead. As we move inside of 3 minutes left in the half. And Candace, you can just feel the weight, the mood in this building that has changed here dramatically over the last couple of minutes in what was a party for the first quarter in about 7 minutes of the second. Williams fires and hits.
And right there, J-Dub knocking down a much-needed three by the Thunder. At that point, they were 3 of 17. Now knocking down their fourth of this first half.
Candace, what you say the goal is for the Thunder? Just try to get this thing inside of 20 before halftime. SGA gets a fingertip on it. Loose ball to get it out to Aldama. And Lou Dort clears.
And the key is you got to get back and get your defense set. So no bad shots for Memphis, because guess what? It usually leads to offense for the Thunder. They got lucky there.
Holmgren misses a little bunny and tight. Aldama hits. Santi Aldama, beautiful setup from Kennard, and Aldama's got a dozen. As we move inside of 2 minutes, Jackson biting on that head fake from Gilgeous-Alexander.
And Jaren Jackson Jr. only one personal foul as Ja limps to the locker room. He's done a great job in this first half of not getting in foul trouble. Him and Cat are tied for the most fouls in the NBA, and if there's any downside to the Defensive Player of the Year contender in Jaren Jackson Jr., it's can he stay out of foul trouble?
Let's check out the limelight presented by Corona. And again, this has been the major headline. Candace mentioned the three-point numbers for Memphis through the first 2 games of the series. Just a completely different set of circumstances so far here in game 3.
Well, the game is different when the ball goes in the basket, right? You come out and knock down 7 straight threes. It definitely changes your pace, your intent, how the Thunder have to adjust defensively.
Scottie Pippen Jr. had it poked away by Williams. Loose ball, Bain. Wallace, boy, these guards just so active with their hands defensively. Williams ahead of the field. So that gets the heart pumping now for OKC in what has been a nightmare half. 18 for Williams as we play late stages first half on TNT.
Great job sprinting back, contesting everything, and then putting a body on the guys for the rebound. Excellent job. That's how we got to finish. Start and finish the possession, okay?
That last one we can't have. Like, we're jogging back. They're faster than we are. We get cross-match, we give up a wide open three, right? We got to get back. All right, we got to understand the ones we're willing to give up and what we're not.
Both coaches mic for sound tonight. Here for OKC, 21 points against Miami. It came in the middle part of February as Scottie Pippen Jr. is going to earn himself a trip back to the free throw line. OKC was so dominant this year, Candace. They just haven't been in many of these situations. But how do they navigate this thing? You got the John Morant injury now kind of hanging over this game as we play with 1:12 left in the half.
I can hear my championship coach, Brian Hagler, say, the toughest team usually wins. The aggressive team usually wins. The ones that throw the first punch. And you see on that play, coming out of a timeout, Pippen Jr. not settling for a jump shot. They cleared out the right side. He initiated the contact, and he gets rewarded at the free throw line, which is huge to stop the Thunder from their fluid offense in the secondary.
Officials will get Pippen Jr. on the reach in as SGA just so brilliant. Knew that the contact was coming, putting Scottie Pippen Jr. in a vulnerable defensive position. So 63 seconds left in the half. And Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, one of the 3 finalists for the NBA MVP, fresh off his first NBA scoring title. Franchise record for points per game in a season this year, surpassing what KD did with his franchise back in 2013-14. Third straight year that he's averaged 30 points on better than 50% shooting.
And anytime you're in a conversation with Michael Jordan, who's done that 5 times, I think you're in great company.
Jaren Jackson left, he will fire. Not much trajectory on that 3.
And the Thunder looking to go for a little 2-for-1 here.
Bonus situation for both teams as both defenses are out of fouls. SGA steps on a dime and hits. What a half he has put together. 18 points. They've cut it down to 22. Final half minute before the intermission. And they're going to get SGA here reaching around the back of Jackson. Penalty situation here for Memphis.
And because Memphis has been aggressive going to the basket, they get rewarded at the free throw line. Jaren Jackson Jr. does a great job posting up. Gets SGA his 3rd foul.
So Jaren Jackson, excellent free throw shooter, better than 78%.
You jinxed him, Sparrow.
My apologies to
Announcer
Jaren Jackson. The 2025 MLB season is here, and TBS has you covered all season long. You can check out the Padres and the Yankees May the 6th, 6:30 p.m. Eastern on TBS, and stream on Max. Boy, that broadcaster's jinx is gnarly.
If Jaren would have looked over here, I would have pointed at you.
Vince Williams Jr. has checked into the game first time tonight for Memphis. 3rd-year player, played his collegiate basketball just up the street. Final 15 seconds, about 3-second difference, shot to game clock. SGA defended by Williams. SGA curling, and look at Williams with his defense. Pippen Jr. contact, Kennard. He buries it. A 5-point swing in the final 7 seconds.
Right here, Williams doing a great job not fouling. And then again, Pippen Jr. heads up play, enough time, hits Kennard, knocks down the 3 to put the Memphis Grizzlies up 26.
Boy, this thing has been incredible. End of the first half, and Memphis will break and then get you to our TNT studios for the American Express halftime report. You're watching the NBA on TNT, presented by NerdWallet. Here in Memphis, it's time for greatness, presented by Tissot, official timekeeper of the NBA. And for anyone who watched the first 2 games of this series in Oklahoma City, these numbers tonight just don't make much sense. Just a completely different game with the firepower we've seen from the Grizzlies. Their 3-point shooting just incredible. As we sit in for the second half, we have not been given any medical update yet on John Morant. He is still being looked at in the Grizzlies locker room. As Oklahoma City with possession, and they begin the second half with a Chet Holmgren 3.
And Chet knocking down 3 of those in game 2, you got to think that you want to establish that SGA pick and roll where you bring Edey away from the basket, and he has to guard that stretch 4 in Holmgren.
First basket of the night for Chet Holmgren, who missed his first 4 after he was red hot in game 2. Scottie Pippen Jr. misses on the baseline. His first couple of minutes of the half, so critical. SGA catch and shoot 3 too much. Rebound Kennard. As Luke Kennard taking Morant's spot to begin the second half. Off balance flick at the rim by Jackson. And he's going to get to the free throw line. So for anyone just hopping on with us, this was the scene. Scary spill from Morant at the end of the first half. Coming down hard on the front of that left hip. It was down on the ground for over a minute. And to very gingerly limp his way into the locker room as we still are waiting for the medical update from the Grizzlies. By the way, that last foul, Candace, is the 4th personal on Isaiah Hartenstein.
And the Thunder half-court offense need Hartenstein on the floor as he takes a lot of pressure off the guards, is a great passing big, dribble handoffs. We talk about operating out of that short roll with SGA, finding his shooters, so he's got to be smart in these early minutes in this third quarter.
Open look at a 3 from Williams, not that time. Told you about the Thunder. Their biggest comeback win this season was 21 points. The game that they played against Miami on February the 12th. Team that has not been in this position much. Boy, Hartenstein, they're going to get Jackson. A flail of the off arm. Got Hartenstein up high, and that's the 3rd on Jackson.
And right here, you see Jackson. That's the correct call. Elbow, as Coach Dagnall is asking for a replay.
Let's check in with Dennis.
Hard guy just confirmed that Ja will not return to this ball game with the hip contusion.
So it's the news that they were hoping to avoid, but Ja Morant done for the night. Left hip contusion. And now can the rest of this Grizzlies team, Candace, protect this huge lead against this 68-win Thunder team?
Well, the Grizzlies have to have guys that step up. Scottie Pippen Jr. has done his part in this first quarter, but you got to think Desmond Bane has got to get going on the offensive end. And they've got to do it by committee. They have played without Ja Morant lately, as he's missed some games with the hamstring.
Edey fumbles it out of bounds, and so this sloppy start to the second half for the Grizzlies continues.
And you leave the door open for the Thunder. Again, not a live ball turnover. I'll keep going back to that. That has been the difference. The Grizzlies have controlled the glass. They've controlled second chance points, and they haven't turned the ball over, which has not fueled the Thunder offense.
Jalen Williams weaves his way in traffic. Now to Gilgeous-Alexander, slithers into the paint, finds his spot, and hits. Tomas Isolo wants a timeout. This was a 26-point game at halftime. But Oklahoma City slowly starting to chip away as we play on TNT. Here in Memphis, take a little live look at our FanDuel point spread, where it started, where it is currently, as we got a 21-point game. This was 26 points at halftime. But obviously everything has changed. We just got the report from Dennis Scott as we welcome you back courtside. Spiro Dedes and Candace Parker. Ja Morant done for the night, left hip contusion, and now how quickly can they put it all together here if you're Tomas Isolo in this Memphis team?
Well, you have to value the possession. Scottie Pippen Jr. is accustomed to running the show. They've got to get contributions from Desmond Bane, but the key thing is the Thunder, and I'll say it time and time again, they thrive off of points off turnovers. On the season, they averaged 21.8 of those. And so if you can take care of the ball and make this more of a possession game, I think this could be a difficult comeback for the Thunder.
Non-shooting foul as Zach Edey took a bump underneath. Foul was charged to Jalen Williams, his second. Desmond Bane turned back. What a play by Williams, trying to save it after the block. Doing his best Bill Russell impersonation on the baseline. So 8 seconds to shoot. with 9:07 left in the quarter. The good news, Candace, the good news is the right way to say it, but they've got a lot of experience without Morant. Missed 32 games this season. They went 18 and 14 without him. And of course, all the games that he has missed over the last couple of years.
Desmond Bane right there. Jaren Jackson Jr. heads up play, draws the double. Knew where his cutter was going to the corner. Desmond Bane knocks down his first three. 1 of 4 from beyond the arc.
SGA's pass intercepted by Kennard. In the transition, Thunder quickly screening back. Pippen Jr. turns the corner to the rim, and it's going to be an offensive foul. A little bit of a leg kick down low. Hartenstein has taken some punishment in the quarter.
Talk about first getting knocked in the head, and then right here, ooh.
Oh boy.
That, I think you have to take a look at that. Scottie Pippen Jr. leading with his foot. That's got to be a
look to be, and now they will indeed go take a look at the monitor. You have to think that they're going to elevate this thing. And what has been just a terrific night for Scottie Pippen Jr. He has tied his career high with 5 threes. You saw his stat line.
The offensive foul is under review to see if it meets the criteria for a flagrant foul.
So the call on the floor is just an offensive foul, but let's see if they upgrade this thing to a potential flagrant.
And again, right here, leads with the right foot. Ah, that's got to be upgraded, Sparrow. Scottie Pippen has been on point today, has made very little errors. 21 points, or 23 points, excuse me. 5 of 6 from beyond the arc. Now the Thunder are making him put the ball on the floor and go into the Twin Towers and Chet Holmgren and Isaiah Hartenstein.
And you got this break in the action as they continue to look at the replay. There's Tuomas Isolo, kind of a quasi timeout here to try to get his troops back together as we get the call here from Josh Tiven.
After review, Pippen's leg goes out in an unnecessary manner and makes contact to the groin area of Hartenstein. The play is being upgraded to a flagrant foul, penalty 1 for that contact. Hartenstein will shoot 2 free throws. It'll be OKC ball at free throw line extended on either side.
All right, so offensive foul and the flagrant upgrade on Pippen Jr. So 2 free throws for Isaiah Hartenstein and then possession for the Thunder. But boy, as if this Memphis Grizzlies team hasn't had enough that they've had to fight through the coaching change at the end of March. They had to fight their way into the play-in. Eventually working their way into the 8th seed. You saw Zach Kleiman behind the bench. Tayshaun Prince and the rest of that Memphis Grizzlies front office staff. All the big decisions, Candace, that they've got to make in this upcoming offseason.
Well, you look at how close they were in terms of at one point being number 2 in the West, tied for number 4 when Coach Isolo took over this squad. The meaningful basketball that they have played over the last couple of weeks, every game has mattered, and you could tell in these first 2 games that they were exhausted from the travel and the type of basketball required.
Holmgren three-pointer won't go. Oh boy, now Pippen takes a little bit of a bump to his hip area.
But those were rebounds that the Grizzlies were not coming up with in game 1 and game 2. I don't know what the difference has been. Maybe it's a little rest, maybe it's a little home cooking, sleeping in your own bed, but those were loose balls that the Thunder guards were coming up with.
Second personal on Dort. All the hustle plays just dominated by the Thunder in the first 2 games of the series, no doubt about it. Here comes Jackson barreling to the basket.
It looked like Jaren Jackson Jr. might have turned his ankle on that, but physical play, not shying away from the contact, going straight into Hartenstein's chest.
So Jaren Jackson now 3 of 7. He's got a dozen. A lot more of the scoring load on his shoulders with Morant done for the night. Williams, they got a piece. Bane underneath. It's Holmgren. Question now, can the Thunder put together some consecutive stops with their defense? Kennard lets it fly. Memphis tonight, 12 of 24 from the three-point line. Isaiah Joe waiting to check in at the table for the Thunder. Hartenstein, the leaner. Spinners pad, good shot. Offensive rebound kept alive by Dort. Backdoor Hartenstein. 8 to shoot. Errant pass into the second row of seats.
And the Grizzlies giving up a offensive rebound on the play, but doing a good job of spraying out, getting to the shooters, and Hartenstein had nowhere to go.
So a 26-point halftime lead from Memphis is at 22. As we are 5 minutes gone by in this third quarter. Pippen. Officials are going to get Holmgren here. Loose ball foul. Shoved Edey in the back. And that's going to be the third on Holmgren. Side out of bounds for the Grizzlies, as we are just inside of the 7-minute mark now left in the quarter.
Well, the Thunder cannot lose the battle from beyond the arc and in the paint. Right now, Memphis has the advantage, 30 to 24 in paint points. They're getting to the free throw line. Just all in all, this has been a Memphis showing that I don't know if many people expected.
SGA, cash money from deep. 23 points. See what he has done tonight. His first 3 here in game 3. And the Grizzlies will have it with 12 to shoot.
And Pippen now having the ball in his hands a lot more with Ja Morant out, was able to get some catch and shoot threes off of penetration in the offense. Pippen has to find a way to get going as Bane gets knocked down coming off the screen.
5 on the timer. Bane elevates deep in the corner. That's a tough shot, and the rebound weak side by Williams.
This is where the Thunder are dangerous.
They've got it inside at 20 as we come up on the midway point of the quarter. Dort from deep. Backroom, no. Fight for it. Kennard, the save. Back from the Grizzlies. Where Bane's pass intercepted by Joe. Aldama, nice hustle to get back, and they're going to reset with SGA. Gilgeous-Alexander trying to wave those defensive arms of Bane away. Williams 5 to shoot into the corner. Holmgren from deep. That's good.
What a luxury to have a stretch 4 at 7 foot. Pippen guarding everybody on that play. Guarded SGA, guarded J-Dub, kept the ball out of the paint, but Edey helping in. It's a tough task to ask him to get out and close out on the 3.
Here comes Pippen Jr. Outside to Bane. Rebound weak side. Gilgeous-Alexander knocked to the deck by Edey.
And you got to be careful here. Coach Isolo bringing back in Jaren Jackson Jr. Again, Pippen keeping J-Dub out the paint, but you're asking Edey to cover so much ground. There's a gravitational pull with forwards, I'll tell you. We like to seek the paint. We don't like to guard out there.
Zach Edey is going to sit his second personal. So a 10-2 run by the Thunder. They have cut a 26-point halftime lead for Memphis down to 16. Now they're taking a look at Lou Dort on that Thunder bench. Jalen Williams probing.
Right here.
Holmgren dials it up again from deep. And here comes Oklahoma City.
This pick and roll right here, it doesn't matter. J-Dub, SGA, that's a tough task for Jaren Jackson Jr., Edey, you name it. Thunder have some life.
Hey, just put together a little bit of a run, get it in a manageable spot. We got a lot of game left, right? But we got to ramp up our stuff, all right?
No matter what happens, next situation, okay? Push the pace, attack. This is who we are.
Appreciate both head coaches wearing a microphone for us. So John Morant leaves this game latter stages of the first half. Candace, what have you seen since, especially here in this third quarter, as OKC has cut it down to 13 points?
Well, the Grizzlies only have 7 points on the quarter. And a lot of that has to do with the Thunder taking care of the basketball, getting quality shots as Jaren Jackson Jr. cleans it up. But they've only scored 15 points since John Morant has been out. Obviously, Scottie Pippen Jr. having to handle a lot more of the ball handling and initiating and creating within the offense.
Holmgren coming hard. A quick spin move. That last Jaren Jackson tip-in ended an 11-0 run by the Thunder. As once again, they have ratcheted up their defense at the other end of the floor. Holmgren, meantime, has hit 13 of the last 14 for OKC.
And if you're Coach Isolo, you just keep emphasizing pace. You need to play with pace before the Thunder defense is set. You can't rely on the threes where the ball doesn't touch the paint.
There's the run for the Thunder, 15-4. Again, this was a 26-point game at halftime. You're starting to get those uneasy feelings in this building. Holmgren!
Gotta guard Holmgren. He's heating up. Just knocked down his 4th three.
Chet Holmgren is going off. All 4 of his threes in the quarter. Desmond Bane, defended by SGA, pulls it back. It's a long 2 from Memphis.
Much needed 3 for Memphis. As they're shooting 46%, the basket is the size of the ocean. They needed that one to go.
Desmond Bane and Jaren Jackson, the 2 guys everyone's looking at here. Holmgren, he's human.
And great job by Memphis, making Holmgren put it down on the floor. Aldama doing a great job in help side.
Jackson officials are going to get SGA, I believe, here, or potentially Case and Wallace, who was helping defensively. Oh, it will be indeed be SGA. Penalty situation. It'll put Jaren Jackson at the free throw line.
Jaren greedy. He wanted the and one. He said he didn't. He was going into his shot. What's the difference if you're big?
6 to play. All the injuries that this Memphis team has had to contend with. Jalen Wells, that devastating wrist injury.
And Chet Holmgren has given this team some life, knocking down 4 threes, but he's been a difficult guard. You understand the attention that SGA and J-Dub are going to require. Holmgren doing a great job of popping. We saw the Hartenstein first game 1. That pocket pass that the Grizzlies struggled to guard, but now you have that counter where there's a pop, and you're asking Jaren Jackson Jr. and Edey to get out to guard that.
There's Jalen Wells. We just showed you Brandon Clark, who's been out with that knee injury. Wells was just so good. Rookie of the Year finalist, Candace, and he quickly became just an integral piece for this Memphis team. And when they lost him, they really lost something with this group that they have not been able to replace. So Jackson, big points, 15-point game with inside of 3 minutes left in the quarter.
Well, now with Holmgren out the game, you got to think that they got to go with J-Dub, feature him with cuts. Hartenstein so great at finding the gap. There are 3 Grizzlies players there. What a luxury to play with a passing post player like Isaiah Hartenstein.
OKC slowly but surely putting their imprint on this game, getting the pace to where they wanted it. As everything has changed for the Grizzlies since the exit of John Morant at the end of the first half. So that Desmond Bane shot has been changed from a 2 to a 3. So that is Bane's 2nd 3-pointer of the night.
And of note, Jaren Jackson Jr. picking up that 4th foul. He's got to be careful in his closing minutes as they need him on the floor.
Pippen Jr. poked away. Wallace. Then those disruptive hands and a loose ball foul. This is going to go on the Grizzlies. And again, some of those hustle plays that the Grizzlies were owning earlier in the game as Scottie Pippen Jr. picks up his 4th.
And this is why you need Ja Morant on the floor. Scottie Pippen is comfortable in spurts, coming in, running the offense, initiating, generating good looks for his teammates, but you need him in that catch and shoot scenario, and Ja Morant just takes the pressure off Pippen Jr. as a combo guard.
Isaiah Joe finds a spot and hits. And it's back to 10 with 2:20 left in the quarter. Again, if you just hopped on with us, a left hip contusion for Ja Morant. Went down late in the first half. Done for the night. And this Grizzlies team continue. Zach Edey, devastating flush.
That's a great roll to the basket, taking advantage of the smaller help side.
Here comes Williams. They got a piece underneath. Loose ball. Jackson. Tough pass. Pippen Jr. tracks it down. Jackson working hard. And the officials are going to get Caruso on a reach in. Tough break for the Thunder in a wild sequence.
And Dagnall going back to the smaller lineup with Hartenstein at the 5 with 4 guards. And as a result, help side is a little smaller these days, as you see Edey taking advantage of that. Bane doing a great job of just throwing it up at the rim. There's advantages and disadvantages, and I think the Grizzlies have done a great job of exploiting this lineup that gave them some problems in Game 1 and Game 2.
Don't miss a playoff moment with the NBA app. Download the app today for the latest scores, highlights, and behind-the-scenes access to all the drama. Twomasi Salo giving some encouragement to Desmond Bane. 1:41 left in the quarter. Spiro Ditas, Candace Parker, Dennis Scott. Our producer Bert Bondi, Brent Kristan, our director, rest of our sensational TNT crew here in Memphis. 14-point game with $1:41 remaining in his 3rd quarter.
And Caruso initiating the offense, taking Jaren Jackson Jr. away from the basket.
Caruso catch and shoot, a little bit too much. Hartenstein, boy, a lot of contact underneath. Hartenstein thought he was pulled by Edey.
Well, Hartenstein coming over in free agency, giving the Thunder exactly what they need, which is offensive rebounds, defensive rebounds, controlling the glass.
There's the whip up to Joe. Oklahoma City is 15 of 18 shooting in the quarter. Just incredible. Memphis' 26-point halftime lead is down to 12. Hard screen, Edey frees up Aldama. Kennard from deep. Just hasn't been able to get his 3-point shot straight. Tough pass caught in the corner by Joe as we are inside. Into the corner, Wallace.
And Hartenstein again cleans up backside glass and hits.
Caruso was wide open, and then from his knees gets into Hartenstein. Unbelievable effort. Caruso and Hartenstein, the newest members of this Thunder team. And Isaiah Hartenstein going to shoot free throws. Caruso, meantime, still can't believe he missed the layup.
But Caruso not giving up on the play, and I think that's what's so special about the Thunder. Down 26, it doesn't matter. Caruso misses the layup. He knows Jaren Jackson Jr. is coming to block the shot. Still gets it back to Hartenstein.
And Candace, you said it. You just watch the body language of this Oklahoma City team, and it never changes. First half, they were down 26. They're just stoic all the time. It's amazing to watch this young group.
Well, you think about OKC, they are an anomaly. They're a young team that's defense first, that plays together, that accepts their roles, that doesn't turn the ball over. I mean, Coach Dagnall said this is a joy to coach this team because they're competitive people, but they put the team before themselves.
Grizzlies get caught with Jackson just over the midcourt line. And so the Grizzlies are going to burn a timeout here as we play final seconds of the 3rd. Presented by Google. Packed house downtown Memphis. As we sit in here for the final couple of seconds of the third, the Stanley Cup playoffs continue tomorrow with a trio of Game 3s. We'll start with the Caps at the Canadiens, 7 Eastern, followed by the Canes and the Devils in New Jersey, and then at 8, the Kings and the Oilers in Edmonton. At 10 o'clock, our coverage begins at 6:30 Eastern. You can watch all the action on TNT, TBS, and Max. A 26-point halftime lead for Memphis is down to 11 as we play with 28 seconds left in the quarter.
Well, the difference has been exactly what we talked about coming out into the second half. Is the Thunder thrive off of points off turnovers. In the first half, Memphis took care of the ball. 3 turnovers, 2 points off those turnovers. Now we sit in the second half, and OKC has capitalized 17 points off 10 Memphis turnovers.
Bane has to shoot a step-back 3, challenge 3. Just incredible perimeter defense with the shot clock winding down. Thunder holding for the final shot. 5 seconds left in the quarter. Williams, Aldama on a switch. Williams fires and hits. And it's down to 8 as we reach the end of the third quarter. The Thunder outscore Memphis in the quarter 36-18, and we got an 8-point game.
Right here, J-Dub knows what time it is, knocks down the 3. First round coverage on TNT is presented by NerdWallet.
Well, Scottie Pippen Jr., what has been a career night in terms of the made threes, was red hot in the first half, cooled off a little bit in that third quarter. A couple of seconds ago, he was hanging out with Dennis Scott.
All right, guys, Scottie, you've been here before with no job. The ball's going to be in your hands more in the fourth quarter. How do you get the guys back going again?
Just pushing the pace. You know, they're a good defensive team. We can't let them get set and let their pressure affect us.
When Chet's at the 5, and at that small lineup, he's got 3-ball going. How do you rotate and get the ball out of his hands?
We got to communicate. We got to switch on the pops and, just make it a little bit more difficult for him.
Appreciate you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right, Dennis, great stuff. Trying to get some heat on that lower back with his hyper-ice device, that heat compression that has been all the rage in the NBA. As we begin this fourth quarter, Spiro Ditas, Candace Parker, Dennis Scott, rest of our TNT crew. John Morant done for the night. Lost to a left hip contusion late first half. As Desmond Bane misfires from 3. A 26-point halftime lead for the Grizzlies is down to 8 as we begin the fourth. SGA.
Thought it was going to be 6.
Outside to Holmgren underneath. They're going to reset 7 on the timer. Wallace.
And the Grizzlies getting lucky there on 2 pretty uncontested shots on that possession.
Memphis in the third quarter was just 5 of 17 shooting. Jackson has his pocket picked. And again, how do they get their offense now recalibrated? Holmgren, corner 3, well short.
And Jaren Jackson Jr. needs to get in the paint. You're playing against an undersized Caruso. They don't need you out in the perimeter. You have to establish yourself and demand the double, which will then put the Thunder in a scramble.
Jackson heeds your advice, but they triple team him. Up with the shot and somehow gets it to drop.
And he has to live in there. There is no way Caruso should be able to guard him. And then when you do bring the triple team, then it puts your team at an advantage as the the Thunder have to be in a scramble.
Gilgeous-Alexander just masterful in that mid-range game.
Holmgren popping.
25 points for SGA, and we got an 8-point game. Jackson turns, attacks. Holmgren on the help. Look at Caruso all over the place. Did he have possession? Yes, he did. Timeout, Thunder. And that was all hustle from Caruso.
Caruso giving up size, but not heart. Gets the extra possession. Jaren Jackson Jr. brings it down. Caruso takes advantage and gets a timeout.
First round coverage on TNT presented by NerdWallet. Fun to be on Beale Street on a Friday night, but wasn't a fun end of the first half for John Morant. This nasty spill, the unfortunate contact from Lou Dort. Memphis telling us it is a left hip contusion. Just a scary fall by Morant. Stayed in the game, took the free throws. They examined him at halftime, and they just didn't deem him ready to return. And now the only question, can this Grizzlies team hold on? They were up 26 points at halftime. But here comes OKC, Cason Wallace. Closest that they've been since the opening minute of the second quarter.
And Wallace being a bright spot in that game one, leading the Thunder in scoring. And then in game two, not getting that much of an opportunity, only playing 7 minutes. But you talk about guards that are ready to play.
Here we go! Come on, Kevin!
Jackson, nice little backdoor. Conchar, Pippen Jr., short. And then Conchar, officials are going to say that he was fouled. And that's going to put him to the free throw line. It is Thursday, by the way, just in case you were confused.
And it is Wiggins, so I mean,
before.
we're both.
That's the NBA playoffs. That crazy time of year as John Conchar steps to the free throw line. 6-point game with 9:25 left to play in this fourth quarter. As we take a little peek at the upcoming playoff schedule, ESPN tomorrow will have a couple of game threes. Boston, Orlando, Lakers, Minnesota. ESPNU, NBA TV has Indiana and Milwaukee. That thing getting chippy between those two. And ABC Saturday, Houston, Golden State. Jimmy Butler injury situation looming over that series. NBA.com, visit the NBA app.
And what your three unlocks is a hard closeout from a 7-footer in Zach Edey. That's a tough task for him to have to guard Holmgren on the perimeter as the Thunder go small. And the Memphis Grizzlies counter it by going big again.
Chet Holmgren, you see what he has done after a quiet first half. Caruso still throwing his body all over the gym.
And right here, Holmgren knocking down 4 threes, 4 of 8. What does that do? It unlocks the drive. And when you're a versatile big, you can put the ball on the floor, get to the rim. That is a tough ask by Coach Isolo of your 7-footer, Zach Edey, your rookie 7-footer.
Guy who's overcome 2 significant injuries over the first 2 years of his NBA career. That Lisfranc foot injury as Pippen Jr. misses too much on that 3. And danger zone right now for the Memphis Grizzlies. Their lead down to 6. SGA steps back and buries it.
And I think this is a time where you got to get Zach Edey out. You got to get some quickness and speed. Bring in an Aldama. Bring in someone that could guard that pick and roll, especially if you're going to switch. Guarding Chet Holmgren is one thing, but having to guard SGA is another.
Where Jaren Jackson is pleading for a foul. Thought that Lou Dort got him across the arm. There was a call nonetheless against the Thunder, so side out of bounds for the Grizzlies here with 8:24 left. And this thing is a 1-possession game. Santi Aldama will check in. And now it looks like Kansas Zach Edey is going to sit.
And again, Aldama will do a great job of spreading the floor and hopefully give you a little bit better defensive assignment within that pick and roll, especially if you're going to switch that SGA Holmgren pick and roll.
Boy, that last foul was on SGA, Candace, his 5th personal, so he's got to be careful. 5 seconds to shoot. Here comes Bain, a driving kick. Aldama off the front iron, rebound Dort, and they have gone stone cold.
Yeah, right here, right back.
Gilgeous-Alexander is going to foul again, and he's fouled on a 3-point attempt. It's on Conchar, and Shai Gilgeous-Alexander with a chance to tie this game at the free throw line.
And we're so used to SGA getting to that mid-range, but where he has taken a step forward in his take more threes. I think in game 1 and game 2, maybe a bit too many, as he was 3 of 10 in the last game, but He's so savvy getting to the free throw line in so many different ways.
Led the league in free throws made this season, was 6th during the regular season in free throw percentage at nearly 90%.
And he accounts for 44% of the Thunder total free throws. So they rely heavily on SGA's generating drives and getting to the free throw line.
In terms of scoring this season, he really had no peers in the NBA. He has tied this game. Oklahoma City has erased a 29-point deficit. Santi Aldama working left of the lane. SGA playing with 5. Onsar from the corner, missed it. And they are 6 of 24 in the half. Gilgeous-Alexander spins. Pippen Jr. got a piece.
Pippen Jr. has had himself a night defending SGA. Had himself a series, rather. As right there, a bad shot kind of turns into a turnover for the Grizzlies who want to run. But Pippen Jr. doing a great job using his body, being able to contest and block the shot. I haven't seen SGA be bothered like that in the mid-range.
Largest postseason comeback wins. This is since 1997. Clippers in the 2019 playoffs. We've seen a bunch of teams come back from 26 down. Thunder down 29 points in the first half.
Dang, the Clippers like to get themselves in a deficit, huh?
Right now playing with a big lead in game 3 of that series against Denver. As Desmond Bane breaks the tie. Grizzlies, by the way, just 1 field goal in the last 6.5 minutes. 7 and change to play. Jalen Williams poked away. It's Pippen again. Ahead of the field, Pippen Jr. slithers into the paint. On the wing for Jackson. The spin, the leader, and he goes glass.
And that right there is called not settling. Showing his versatility, putting the ball. He loves to spin off contact.
Gilgeous-Alexander trying to fend off Jackson. Fades. Top shot. Last touched underneath by Memphis.
And right here, Jackson doing a great job of spinning off contact, finishing off the high glass. There's not many people that can stop him when he's going downhill like that.
Candace, this may be a silly question, but any thought here if you're Mark Daigneault to maybe sitting SGA's playing with 5 personals? There's still so much time on the clock.
I think
or do you just ride with him?
I think there's so much trust between Coach Daigneault and SGA that I don't think SGA would want to sit down, and I think he's smart enough to play without fouling.
So here he is with his 5 personals and all. His pass broken up, stolen. It's Kennard making a play. Here comes Kennard, bringing it all the way up the floor into the corner. Reset Aldama. As we come up on the midway point of the 4th quarter. Aldama having a career season for the Grizz this season. 6 unanswered, and their lead is 6.
And you could tell the Grizzlies wanted to go at SGA. They know he has 5 fouls.
Williams, a little contact on the leaner, no whistle, letting him play through the physicality. And Jalen Williams has 23 for the Thunder. So we cross the midway point of the 4th. Aldama into the paint, lost his footing, and they turn it over. 2-on-1 run out. Caruso back to SGA, and he missed the dunk. But look who's there. It's Caruso. 2-point game with 5:34 left in regulation. This is Bane, deep shot. And Desmond Bane is now 2 of 9 from deep. Everyone kind of gassed a little bit, trying to catch their breath. Gilgeous-Alexander defended by Aldama. 4 to shoot to the middle, underneath to Dort. The fake, and he lays it in, and we're tied again.
Over Eden.
So they respond to the 6-0 run with 6 unanswered of their own. Pippen from the corner. Got it!
And Pippen knocks down his first three of the second half, a catch and shoot. That's what he likes to do.
Scottie Pippen Jr., when you consider what's at stake, playing the best game of his young NBA career. Hartenstein going to reset. SGA 2 to shoot. Finds his spot. Fires short. Zach Edey, a one-handed rebound. Scottie Pippen Jr. going to get him settled down as we come up on the final 4 minutes. So the Grizzlies break through in the series. Contact. This is going to be a late whistle. Alex Caruso can't believe it.
The way that the referees have been calling this game, I don't know about this one. I think that's a play on. That's a play on right there.
Trying to get around that Zach Edey screen.
Well, lucky for the Memphis Grizzlies, as Coach Dagnall's gonna challenge the play.
If it stands, that's the final foul that they had to give. As we'll get a coach's challenge here from Mark Dagnall with 4 and change left on TNT. Successful challenge by Mark Dagnall and the Thunder. The call on the floor was a defensive foul against Alex Caruso trying to fight around that screen.
Upon review of the play, Zach Edey is wide with his left leg and shifts over late. And the play is being overturned to an illegal screen on Edey, proximate to the play. The challenge is successful for Oklahoma City. A mandatory timeout is charged regardless. They do have one further challenge. It'll be Oklahoma City ball on the side.
Boy, Zach Edey, incredulous. I was just about to ask you, boy, do you maybe hold that challenge, but you felt like what they had to gain their possession was worth the risk with 4 and change left.
Well, kudos to the bench coaches. There's individuals that's entire job is to look at replays, and Coach Dagnall doing a good job of trusting his staff.
Williams misses badly off the setup from SGA. You saw the point differential since the injury, since John Morant left this game. Final seconds, final minutes of the first half. The Grizzlies have been outscored by the Thunder by 24 points.
Well, I think the question goes for the Grizzlies in your half-court offense, where do you go? And I think the answer is Jaren Jackson Jr. He commands a double. That allows you to have Scottie Pippen Jr., who's high, as a weak side spacer and shooter.
Scottie Pippen Jr., monster first half. As Aldama's pass for Kennard deflected out. How many deflections does Alex Caruso have tonight?
When you talk about a team in the Thunder that always have extra effort, lead the league in steals and deflections.
Well, Pippen Jr. just barely able to get it in. Holmgren got a piece. Deflected. Broken up. Thunder wreaking havoc. Boy, the shot clock did reset. They say that the Thunder had possession. Mark Dagnall can't believe it. Felt that it should have been a shot clock violation. Desmond Bane, left wing to Pippen, turns the corner, and they're going to get Dort. Mark Dagnall is still arguing that it should have been a shot clock violation against the Grizzlies, but they determined that the Thunder had possession, Candace, for that split second. And that is what reset the shot clock. So the inbound Bane to Kennard. And here we go, 3:14 left. Kennard trying to figure out what play they want to run. Jackson. SGA defending with 5 fouls. Jackson's floater missed it.
The problem is Jaren Jackson Jr., they're trying to seek out SGA's 5 fouls. Jaren Jackson Jr. has to not pop, he has to short roll, which allows him to get into the paint and maybe draw some contact.
Gilgeous-Alexander defended by 2. Left wing Caruso into the paint. Holmgren. We are knotted here in Memphis.
Holmgren, a quiet double in game 2 with 5 blocks. Today showing up 5 threes.
21 of his 22 in the second half. Jackson, everything on his shoulders. Caruso the steal. Another defensive gem by Caruso.
And the Thunder with an opportunity to take the lead with their closer with the ball.
Gilgeous-Alexander, the spin, Holmgren. Well, you can hear the gasps in this building here in Memphis as we are inside of 2 minutes left here in Game 3. Kennard, Aldama, way too much.
And I think at this point, the Grizzlies have to stop picking on SGA and just run their offense.
90 seconds. Jalen Williams gets a screen from Gilgeous-Alexander. 5 to shoot. Into the corner, Caruso reset Williams off balance, and he is fouled. Can give the Thunder the lead with 1:20 remaining.
And this would be their first lead on the night after being down 29. Jaren Jackson Jr. getting into the paint, forgetting that Holmgren, who was knocked down 5 threes. 5 of 10 from beyond the arc is out there.
Oklahoma City was down 29 points in the first half. They were down 26 at halftime. If you've just hopped on with us, Memphis losing John Morant late in the first half with a left hip contusion. And now frantically somehow trying to hold on here in Game 3. First lead tonight for the Thunder. Miraculous comeback.
And where do you go if you're the Grizzlies? You've got to get something downhill. You've got to get something aggressive. And the ball has to touch the paint.
Desmond Bane, 6 to shoot, jab steps, fakes, fires. Just hasn't been his night. Holmgren is bumped. Loose ball foul against Memphis. Let's see who the officials get here. Penalty situation. It'll be Chet Holmgren to the free throw line with 57.4 seconds left.
And again, right here, it's been physical, but from that angle, it looked a little bit like Holmgren just took a little dive, sold it a little bit.
Two-point lead with 57.4 seconds left. Holmgren is 75% free throw shooter. Remember, began the season, played in the first 10 games, then missed nearly 40 games with that right hip fracture that he sustained in early November. But boy, has he found his form at just the right time of the season, peaking. There's Oklahoma City trying to take a command 3-0 lead in this first-round series. And what a second half he has put together here in Memphis.
Right here, you don't need a three. You need to generate a good look. And right here, to me, I think the ball has to find its way.
Scottie Pippen Jr. has been their best three-point player. Caruso knocks it loose. Unreal. Jump ball is called between Dort and Edey. Boy, give Zach Edey all kinds of credit.
Well, let's give Zach Edey all types of credit, but let's also give Alex Caruso locking up defensively. Dort first to the floor.
You are watching one of the grittiest defenders in the NBA.
The perimeter, the post player, undersized. He's guarded Jaren Jackson Jr. a number of possessions in the post. You talk about his game 2 heroics, 13 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals. Alex Caruso has had himself a series thus far.
Memphis has 2 timeouts left. Oklahoma City has 1. Grizzlies have 1 foul to give. Something to keep in mind here. The Thunder are out of fouls. As Mark Daigneault still pleading his case with Kevin Cutler.
And I think on situations like this, we always had it where you would.
Ooh, for the push. What's the call here?
Offensive foul.
They're going to get 80.
Oh my goodness, that's a mistake. You're going to win the tap.
They say that Edey bodied up after he won the tap easily. 38.7.
Look at Edey clearing out. He clears out with that off arm. Just a huge mistake. Watch this off arm. Goes up with the right. That's a correct call. You're Edey, you're gonna win the tap.
Candace, you can challenge here. Of course, we're inside of 2 minutes.
I don't think you're gonna win that challenge.
38.7 seconds left. Lou Dort. And it's still a one-possession game.
Right here, look at his off arm. He clears off, hits Dort in the face. You're not going to win that challenge.
You may as well hold on to that challenge that they have. 38.7 seconds left. And you can hear a pin drop.
There is silence in this arena after it was rocking up 29. Everything was going right.
This was a 69-40 lead with 3:07 left in the first half. Place was raucous. And my goodness, how quickly things have changed. John Morant lost to the hip injury. And now with 39.2 seconds left, Lou Dort trying to make this a 2-possession lead.
He misses both.
And he leaves that door open for the Grizzlies. But that a little bit more here in Memphis. You're watching the NBA playoffs on TNT. Here in Memphis, time for Play Your Own Way, presented by PayPal. Chet Holmgren trying to put this Thunder team on his back. He has been magnificent in the second half. 23 of his 24 points since the intermission. So one possession game, 3-point OKC lead, 38.9. Memphis has not scored, Candace, in more than 4 minutes. How do you handle this here? Do you go for the 3 or 2?
I think that the Thunder defense dictates what exactly you do in the half court. I think the ball has to touch Jaren Jackson Jr. You space a Bane. I'm surprised Scottie Pippen Jr. isn't in this game to knock down threes.
Conchar in the game, Bane into the corner. Here comes Kennard to the rack. A little bit of contact, gets it to Conchar. That's short. Rebound, Holmgren.
Now you got a foul.
Ahead of the pack to Caruso, all by himself. That'll get it to a 5-point lead with 19.4 remaining. Multiple chances for the Grizzlies. The Thunder have scored 8 straight on TNT. Where we have watched one of the craziest comebacks in NBA playoff history. A Thunder team that was down 29 points late in the first half. They have outscored Memphis 62-31, Candace, in the second half, and they got a 5-point lead with 19.4 left.
And you saw that correctly. After a 37 and 40 point first and second quarter, they've scored 18 and 17 points.
Desmond Bane misses the 3. Caruso.
Thunder team. Let's talk about them right here.
And Alex Caruso, Candace, just completely changed the complexion of this game with what he did defensively. And really, it's been part of the story all season long.
And not gaudy numbers. 9 points, 6 rebounds, 4 steals, 3 assists. But it's been his presence, his energy, his extra effort, his timely plays. I mean, this Thunder team, they've won in so many different ways. They got to get their free throws together. They're normally an 81% free throw shooting team, but Coach Dagnall has to be proud of this group. Got down 29 points, chipped away in that third quarter, stuck to the game plan, didn't overreact. Man, this was a victory that they pulled out.
In the meantime, the agony for the Grizzlies. They lose John Morant, which really sullied what had been just an unbelievable first half performance. Lost him for the night, and they never recovered. The Oklahoma City Thunder with the second largest comeback playoff win since 1997. And they have taken a command 3-0 series lead in this first round best of 7. And they will have a chance to turn out the lights on the Grizzlies on Saturday afternoon in a game that'll tip here at 2:30 Eastern time.
Есть в напевах твоих сокровенных роковая о гибели весть. Есть проклятие заветов священных, поругание счастья есть. И такая влекущая сила, что готов я твердить за молвой, будто ангелов ты не сводила, соблазняя своей красотой. Смеешься над верой, над тобой загорает. Есть минуты, когда не тревожит роковая нас жизни гроза. Кто-то на плечи руки положит, кто-то ясно заглянет в глаза, и мгновенно житейское канет, словно в темную пропасть без дна. И над пропастью медленно встанет семицветной дугой тишина. И напев заглушенный юный, затаенный затронет тиши, усыпленная жизнью.
No matter what people do or say, this love will never die. If I knew I never hurt you so bad, drinking so much, too much women in my life. Wash mata, Jamila, I'm so sorry. I mean a girl in a dogida na gan Jamila na. Na dawo gida in ji muryan Jamila, in ci abincin Jamila. Wayo, na maki mata magana, ta dawo gida soyayya.